This is impressive, my friend. Just when it seemed the Raiders were ready to respond on the field, a bombshell dropped behind the scenes. A former Washington Commanders coach opened up and explained why Chip Kelly's offense simply isn't working in Las Vegas. And look, the criticism is harsh. He called the system too collegiate and pointed out serious flaws that may be hindering the team's aggressive production. But it doesn't stop there. The problems with the offensive line are piling up, and there's even a big name on the radar to try to fix this mess. And if nothing changes, the season could be over before it even gets going. So, like, subscribe, and stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal to you now shows exactly where the Raiders are failing and what urgently needs to change. In 2025, the Las Vegas Raiders are facing a frustrating reality in their campaign. The team is struggling to find consistency on offense, an area that should be their strong point this season. Under offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, the Raiders' offense has been one of the least effective units in the NFL, and this has been dramatically reflected in the offensive line, which was one of the biggest targets of criticism after the heavy loss to the Washington Commanders. The offensive line, under Brennan Carroll, has failed to adapt to the demands of the NFL. A lack of cohesion and difficulty protecting the quarterback have been central to the Raiders' struggles. But what's really behind this inefficiency? For Logan Paulson, former tight end for the Washington Commanders, the answer may lie in Chip Kelly's system itself. During a podcast analysis, Paulson didn't receive suggestions that Kelly's offensive scheme, more common in college football, has shown little success in the NFL. He compared Kelly's style to something that works in college, but not in the professional arena. The differences between college and professional football, such as field dimensions and defensive positions, make it difficult to adapt Chip Kelly's plays. The so-called run-pass option, RPO, plays have proven ineffective, as in the NFL, the width of the hash marks allows linebackers and safeties to cover the field more efficiently, negating the play options that Kelly used successfully in college football. But the criticism doesn't stop there. Paulson also mentioned another crucial flaw in the Raiders' game: the lack of creating advantageous angles in the run game. When compared to his work in eras like Green Bay, San Francisco, and Baltimore, it's clear that Kelly failed to effectively implement his running plays. He failed to open holes in the defense, or he limited the running backs, especially Ashton Jeanty, who suffers without the necessary protection to gain important vests. Given this, a question arises: will Chip Kelly be able to adapt his approach to the NFL and make the Raiders' offense function as expected? The challenge is in his hands. There's a growing sense that he needs to reinvent himself to become a more competitive team and, above all, functional when it comes to creating an explosive and efficient offense. If he can't adjust his scheme, time could continue on a path of frustration. For Raiders fans, the hope is that Kelly realizes that the NFL requires more than just a college system to guarantee victory. And if Chip Kelly's scheme already raises questions, the developed line only increases the concern, which is why a 6'7" giant could be the solution the Raiders are looking for. The Las Vegas Raiders have faced a challenging season, but a possible solution to one of their biggest problems may be closer than we think. The offensive line, a department that has been a real headache for the team, continues to struggle to reach the level necessary to protect the quarterback and ensure a good run. The right tackle position has been especially problematic, and DJ Glaze, once seen as a solution, has underperformed in his second year. Although the team has invested heavily in the offensive line, the gaps remain evident. This scenario raises the possibility of a high-profile pick in the upcoming 2026 draft. CBS Sports' Mike Renner suggested that the Raiders could target Miami offensive tackle Francis Mauigoa to solve the crisis at right tackle. Mauigoa, at 6 feet 4 inches and 335 pounds, is described as a true athletic freak, and his credentials make him an irresistible prospect for any prospect seeking a major reinforcement. Mauigoa's impressive physique is something to behold. He runs the 10-meter dash in just 1.57 seconds and boasts a 30-inch vertical leap, a feat that impresses even the most experienced coaches. His high-level performance at Miami, where he was a starter since his freshman year, has established him as one of the most dominant players at his position in college football. And it's precisely this dominance that the Raiders need to finally address the serious deficiencies on the offensive line. If the Raiders can secure Mauigoa in the first round of the 2026 draft, he could be the big name to transform the offensive line and provide much-needed protection for the running game, which, until now, has been hampered by the lack of a reliable line. Mauigoa's presence could free up running back Ashton Jeanty to better exploit defensive gaps and ultimately improve the Raiders' offensive output. With Mauigoa's selection, the Raiders could be taking the most important step in strengthening their offensive line, becoming a more cohesive and physical unit. It remains to be seen whether time will secure this athletic freak in the draft. But if it does, it could mark the beginning of a new era for the Las Vegas offensive line. Expectations are high, and and so is the pressure, as this pick could be crucial for the 2026 draft. But even with potential reinforcements on the horizon, the present doesn't wait. The mistakes continue to pile up, and Las Vegas risks seeing the season slip away as soon as September. The Las Vegas Raiders find themselves in a critical situation after another heavy loss, this time to the Commanders, and warning signs are blaring. The team is at a decisive crossroads, and how they respond in the coming weeks could determine the fate of their season. C-Data rating after the loss isn't a good reflection of the Raiders' reality, but surprisingly, it was considered positive given the current situation. The main weakness remains the offensive line, which is leaving the clock vulnerable on all fronts. Running back Ashton Jeanty, who has the talent to shine, is being severely hampered by the lack of running space. He has been unable to fulfill his potential due to constant pressure at the line of scrimmage, and opposing defenders have no trouble containing him. This early line deficiency is compromising not only Jeanty's performance, but also the effectiveness of the offense as a whole. Without a reliable line, the Raiders' offense cannot gain fluidity. Furthermore, the defense, which should be a strength of the team, has also faltered in crucial moments. Even with an experienced coach like Pete Carroll, known for preparing his team well, the Raiders failed to respond to pressure in the second half against the Commanders. The defense failed to hold on to key plays, and the team overall lost control of the game. This combination of failures, both defensively and offensively, put the Raiders on the brink of a lost season. Former NFL player DeMarcus Ware was not particularly critical, saying the team urgently needs to correct its mistakes if it wants to avoid the disaster of a failed season. Geno Smith, the Raiders quarterback, also emphasized the severity of the situation, urging improved performance from the entire offensive line and other players to support Jeanty and allow the offense to function efficiently. The pressure to find solutions is immense, as the Raiders have proven incapable of responding to difficult moments during games, further jeopardizing their chances of a competitive season. To avoid another lost season, the Raiders urgently need adjustments. The offensive strategy needs to be revised, and the offensive line needs to be strengthened immediately so that Jeanty and the rest of the team can have a chance to shine. Without these adjustments, the 2025 campaign could follow the same path as recent seasons, and the playoffs will become increasingly distant. The next few weeks will be crucial for the Raiders, who must correct their mistakes. Given the difficulties they've faced, from the ineffectiveness of the offense under Chip Kelly to the lack of performance in the offensive line and in game plans, do you believe drastic changes, such as a coordinator change or immediate reinforcements to the roster, are acceptable to save the 2025 season? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to update you with the latest Raiders news.